Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and for Deader Dudes Nation for everything that you brought to us. Again, we have come out of New York City Comic Con, and we're now deep into Halloween month, the season of the witch.
Yes. Now we're going to. I know we've been a little skimpy on the podcast episodes, but we're going to be back starting next week with 2 episodes a week for sure.
Maybe 3. There might be a special for Thanksgiving, Halloween week. Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
Now we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna get a little introspective. We're gonna get a little controversial, and we're gonna get a little spooky. We're going to conversate and try to figure what is the current state of the horror movie.
Well, on the heels of what movie just came out? Halloween Kills.
Yes.
This is okay, don't quote me on my count. Movie rendition number 35.
Yeah, well, I do believe we have Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, the 2 Rob Zombie movies, and Halloween 2018, and now Halloween Kills, only to be followed by Halloween Ends next year.
So they're giving Fast and Furious a run for the money.
Yeah, but that's the thing about, well, I guess let's just get into it. That's the thing about your horror franchises. Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Conjuring, on and on and on and on.
Freddy versus Jason. Now you're mixing.
You want a franchise to last you several movies, maybe 4, 5, 6 even, or more if they continue to be successful. And that's what the horror fan looks for. But is it at the expense of doing something well? Meaning, is Hollywood just making this stuff just because we're gonna just eat it? Or does it have to be good?
I think it's bluntly obvious that it doesn't matter whether it's good. They know they have a cash cow and they're cashing in over and over and over again. They know that they could put seats in the movie theater. They're gonna do the streaming. They're gonna do everything. Look at Halloween Kills. Relatively a good number of people saw it. You can't call it a blockbuster, but at the same time, they can put garbage out there, and I'm not saying it is, but they can continue to put garbage out there, and people are still going to continue to watch. This is on a minor level, but almost on the same vein. Resident Evil. They did how many movies? They did how many animated features? And I have yet to do a review, and it is going to come out soon. The latest installment in the Resident Evil animation series is absolutely putrid, but I watched.
Yes.
And so that's on the lines of the series. Let's talk about remakes.
Yeah,
remakes on a different animal, and I can understand 3 major points why they would do it.
Okay. Well, all right. So then can we establish the fact that the remake is Hollywood's way to make more money, obviously, and in essence reboot the franchise, keep it fresh, or make it new for fresh eyes?
Merch.
Of course, merch. I mean, for a different generation, and they know that the kids will not watch a movie from 1978.
But for you and I, and for a lot of our audience who are hardcore horror fans, yes, there are some movies that are considered untouchable. There are some movies that are just so iconic. Why ever would you even dare to remake them? Like, could you imagine? Well, they did do a remake of The Shining, which went horribly down the toilet. because of Stephen King's, I know his whole personal issues with the Stanley Kubrick vehicle. Get it, but uh, Halloween, and like you had mentioned, what's his name? Rob Zombie did it. Oh my goodness, was it brutal?
I mean, I was standing alone on the island and saying that movie is dog shit. I did not like it. I'm sorry.
It's horrible.
I'm a fan of the original, John
But
Carpenter.
why even make it?
If you're going to make a remake, if you're going to make a reimagining, make it different. Different enough that if you're going to regurgitate a very similar story, then what the hell's the point?
I know. What is the point? Now, like you had mentioned, Evil Dead was remade.
And that's an example of a remake that was good.
And why? Because they updated CGI and special effects. Granted, Sam Raimi one was awesome, iconic, but you did notice it was on the very cheesy end of the spectrum. B movie special effects. It worked because of that.
When you're talking about what, 1981 or 82?
Exactly. So I can see that as long as you don't really challenge the main storyline. The other part I know is these movies are 20, 30 years old, some even more than that. I get it. Updated, cell phones, social media, social changes. I get it. So I could see them doing it with that since now. I agree with you. This is an art form.
Yes.
And you want, by and large, to have an artist with a visionary eye, not to make change for change's sake, but to make changes so that it can work effectively. You almost want to make your own creation. I get it, but there are more failures than successes. I think Hellraiser is going to be remade. I think Lost Boys, which there's one right there.
Yeah, look,
I don't know how you're gonna do better than that. Not that it was the best horror movie ever,
No,
it was very cutting edge for the time. It was raw. It was impressionable. It was memorable. I don't understand why you even change it. Why touch it?
It gave you a generation of what vampires should look like. Not the sparkly kind, but it
Ooh,
was,
Twilight.
And it was a damn good film. Wasn't the best film. Wasn't very scary.
For a horror film, it was a great film.
It was a good movie. It was it was a good film. Forget the fact that we're saying we're giving it was a good horror film. No, it was a good film. It was a good film. And
I'll give you
said yourself, why remake it? For what? What purpose? You know what? Go out, rent it, or go on YouTube, go on Tubi, go on Vudu, go on Hulu, go on Netflix, go on Amazon, go to Blockbuster, go to freaking whoever you gotta go to and watch the movie. Come on.
I'll give you a point that actually
Psycho. Go and watch the original Black Christmas, not the horrific freaking remake.
I'll give a success story though.
That came after that. That came out a couple of years ago with The Sorority, which is one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. Now,
let's touch on two major iconic movies that have been remade, and let's go back in time. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Now I know there might be a lot of viewing audience there that this is way far beyond them. Shame on you. Go watch the original. I don't want to hear it. The 1956 black and white original. I thought it was an excellent film.
Great film.
For the time it was, for the content, the dialogue, and where it went with that. Almost 20 years later, 1978, Invasion of the Body Snatchers was remade. Not a better film, but a damn good film.
An updated film.
A little bit of a change up in the ending. Same plot line. And it's reimagined. It was updated. I liked it. I actually like both.
I'm going to give you one. In the same vein,
go to the big one.
We're gonna go to Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
You had the George Romero's classic with the mall and the whole thing and everything. And then you have
Was it 2005, 2004?
freaking cheese. Yeah, Zack Snyder's remake or reimagining of that. Just as good. Some might even say better, which is heresy. But
I'm a heretic. I'm a heretic. It's better.
you know what? There are things, there are parts of it that I do like better also. And I like the running zombie, even though it doesn't make any sense, but I do like the running zombie. I'm sorry. I think it's scarier. I think
No, I agree. Look, this is 1978 Dawn of the Dead. The one that really kills, pun intended, go with it, everybody out there. The pacing was horrible.
yes,
It
well,
was murderously slow. And that did not help the matters. I get it. They're survivors, they're in a mall, they're trapped. But you get to 2004 version, all right, another 20 years later. The pacing was slow when it needed to, but beyond that, it was on caked up amphetamines.
yeah.
That shit was on a trip.
Another one. I mean, I'm not gonna freaking give you a whole list, but another one that just came to mind along the same vein, and it's the remake is not better, but it improved on some aspects of the original. Night of the Living Dead, the George Romero classic.
The big one.
Yeah. Then you had the remake in, I do believe, the 90s by Savini, which was surprising. Many people didn't really see it. It didn't really catch on like expected it to catch on. I thought it was, the gore factor was shot way up, obviously, and I thought it was pretty well made. Not better than the original, but
No, you're talking about 68 to 90.
yeah,
22 years. And a lot has changed. Social issues have changed. Although the first one was cutting edge in that the lead actor is African American and he just slapped around a white woman. But the story of the first one outpaces everything. The slow zombies, the hicks and the sticks and all stuff. And there was nothing like that.
No, there was not.
So it was the original King Big Daddy
of the zombie.
Kudos. I get it. With the 1991, you have color, you have more action, you have better side effects, superior with blood splatter, with makeup. You can see more. It's in living color.
Yes.
Pun intended. Boy, I'm pun boy today. The thing is with today's movies, yeah, I'm gonna sound like an old Fanogi, but it's now all show up front and very, very much less content. The story begins to pale in comparison.
Like I said, it's all pizzazz and no content.
And it doesn't help the cause. Listen, anybody can get a jump scare, but the third time around, you're not jumping. But a very good story, the 15th time around, you still gasp and you're like, oh, that's messed up.
All right.
Oh, it's awesome.
If we're done with remakes, why do you watch horror? In the sense that, what you said to yourself, what are you looking for in a horror movie? Are you looking to be scared? Are you looking to be obviously entertained? Are you looking for a good story? Or do you prefer the jump scare? You want that dread type of horror? Or all of the above, or none of the above?
I personally like the all of the above, but and I'll watch it because of the gore. I'll watch it for the jump. I'll watch it for the grossness of it all. But what elevates a horror movie, in my opinion, to an iconic level versus the other one is there's a permanence involved. I can't tell you how many bad horror movies I watched. I only remember it because they were bad. But by and large, I won't remember them. Night of the Living Dead, the first one. The Shining. And then we'll get to a point in case that will make the point for both our sides. The Sixth Sense. I saw it the first time. I was scared out of my wits. I thought it was a massively done thing. Everybody was applauding M. Night Shyamalan. Great. You're right. And I didn't know it until you told me it. I've watched it now since maybe 6, 7 times, not its entirety, but bits and pieces. A couple of scenes will still get to me, but as a whole, since I already know the drop, it lost a lot of punch.
For me, the movie's unwatchable. And look, it's a good movie. It's a great movie, but I think the gimmick, and maybe by saying gimmick, if you think I'm trashing it, I'm not. But the selling point, the twist at the end, which for you guys haven't seen it, run and go watch it. It's so obvious in the film that it takes away, at least for me, from the enjoyment of said film. Same thing in Scream, except Scream, I enjoyed the interaction of the characters more. So I can still watch it, even though knowing spoilers, that Stu and and Billy are the killers. It's obvious, but I can still enjoy it because you're on for the ride. Yet in The Sixth Sense, knowing what happens affects it. It affects for me. It affects the enjoyment of watching.
So exactly. Now you take these two movies in particular, The Shining, The Exorcist. You know the ending. Everybody knows the ending. But you're talking about some of the best performances
Yeah,
ever. The Exorcist original in the 70s. Maybe today's CGI can blow it out of the water. I get it. But the content of The Exorcist and the personal issues going on between the apprentice priest, the older priest with the health issues, the young girl, the mom, and just the fact that you also know the ending, it just adds. It's the buildup, it's the drama. I can still watch it today. I still will have to have maybe the lights on for a bit.
you know what? And I'll take the opposite stance that I think it has not aged well. I think that it's lost a lot of its luster for me.
So is that a movie you'd like to see redone?
Well, it's coming. Get ready, because David Gordon, the guy who did Halloween Kills and everything, he is, which in some horror circles, he's not well, recognized. But in some people, he's redoing freaking The Exorcist. So, I'm not sure if it's a straight up remake or a sequel, but it might be a sequel for all we know. I'm not gonna.
And
But
in along with the social
David Gordon
times and
Green.
changes.
I'm sorry. David
No,
Gordon.
he actually has a pretty good name. In we have to acknowledge that in social circles.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Control. And he's doing the Hellraiser movie too.
Yes, I remember. I think I do recall he's doing the Hellraiser. I get it with interacting with today's youth, especially. And youth, I don't mean the the 12-year-old trying to buy cigarettes. I'm talking about all movie companies want to do is hook you for life, right? Because then they got you. So to get the 18 to 25, 18 to 30 demographic, I get it. You just mentioned it. It's a little bit outdated. It's out of touch. You want to make it more relevant.
Yes.
So I can see that point of view of making the remake.
Well, yeah,
Again, all I
it
beg Hollywood is to make it good. That's all I ask.
Yeah, but don't forget also a lot of, and this is something that, admittedly we're middle-aged, so we see things as the movies we've seen in the past. There were different times. So I understand that now it needs to be more inclusive, and things that happened back then, a lot of it wasn't, on the up and up. And
right.
Times have to reflect that.
Right.
Conversely,
and I get that.
I've seen a lot of movies that are current or that are newer movies based in the past. Why? Because it works. You said before, the lack of cell phones, the lack of technology.
GPS trackers. Right, because the viewing audience today will sit down and watch the movie and be like, "Oh, that can't happen," because they could trace you, or they could go back to your history, or let's just look in today's world. How can a slasher get away with a lot of this stuff? There's a damn camera at every freaking gas station, intersection, public place. It's less believable, and when you don't have the believability factor, a horror movie loses a lot of steam.
And that's where I know we're jumping from topic to topic, but that's where Halloween Kills lost me. That's what I'm gonna say.
Really.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, um, well, these are some random thoughts on the state of horror movies today. At the bottom line of it all, whether you are for, against remakes, continuing series to the infinite number, you want to be entertained. You want to be scared out of his ears. You want to grab that pillow and hide in that corner, peep through and watch, because we all love to be fucked with.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we're not saying that Hollywood is completely a mess, and you have some horror creators that are out there that are doing the job. You have Blumhouse, which are putting out some, not every movie is a great movie, but they're putting out lots of movies. And
A24.
Yeah, A24. You have I think Ghost House, another one. You have a lot of creators, a lot of directors, a lot of writers. They've chosen to do horror, which is awesome. And you've had some good movies. It Follows, The Babadook, Midsommar, Hereditary. We can go on and on. I mean, it's not only just American directors and creators. You also have European, and we have a lot of good Japanese and Korean stuff coming out, or has
I
come.
have to say, by and large, a lot of the horror movies and slasher movies that come out of the East, they don't hold back. I mean,
Well, that's the
you
thing.
have to lend yourself to that though, because there's a societal thing and a cultural thing. But you have to appreciate the fact that there are times they do go over the top in compared to some Western movies. But if that's your thing, yeah, go check out some of these movies. The dubbed and the subtitles sometimes does get away from it, but Train to Busan, my God, I mean,
So all in all, some current stuff is good. Remakes, for the most part, no good. Watch the classics, guys. Watch the classics. Enjoy the current stuff, and just keep watching horror.
all right. Thanks for listening, guys, and remember to like and subscribe. Keep us rolling.
Always.
Let us know. Let us know, especially on this topic, since it is very deep and dear to many of our viewing audience. Let us know what you like in the horror movies, what you don't like, what you like about the state of affairs. Tell us your best movies of all time. Tell us your worst horror movies of all time. Let us know, and we'll post it. We'll talk about it. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate. Hit us up.
Yeah, definitely. We can do a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, whatever of this. And if you guys like this format, this episode, we can do way more of these. So that being said, take care, guys. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Save the whales. Be vigilant.
Take care, guys.